Hi, this is Sari Wild, and I'm here with Gary Mahler, and we're going to talk about human design and how it's impacted Gary's life. And Gary's also on my dream team for the New Year Ascension. We're calling it a D-program, not a program. So welcome, Gary. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. I love that. Deprogram, unprogramming all the junk. Very apropos just before Christmas. All the junk.
True.
Rid of all of that stuff. Good to see you.
Yeah, you know where that came from is or actually a reflector that I introduced you to as well, Tom. He wrote me a one-line message on Facebook. So you have a program. And reflectors are really in tune with the program, like the bigger picture. The picture I've gotten of it is that they're like in the control room of life in a way, and I brought this awareness to him, like, oh no, it's not a program, it's a
It's a
deprogram.
deprogram. It's an unprogram. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
is there
Makes a
anything
lot
you'd
of
like
sense.
to say for opening, or about yourself? Or, well, I'll say Gary's an amazing coach, and the reason that I am so stoked about Gary before we even got into working with human design is that I just recognize him as an exemplary manifester. So he's very peaceful and with his impact. And, manifestors are here for peace. That's their signature. And most people are generators and they're here for satisfaction. So you've got your signature is peace, and the not self theme is anger for manifestors. And I know Gary has some really powerful stories about his past with that as well. But I just could see and feel right away Gary's impact with his presence and his peaceful signature. So thank you for
Thank you.
you.
Like, there's not much more to say about that. I mean, the thing I like about human design is even if you don't know, you just say some things. And when you say, even before I knew I was a manifester, like, I just want peace. I want to live and let live. But holy shit, when things are not going the way I want, anger just steps in and it's like a hurricane like you never seen before. So that makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
Just as soon as you say it, like, I know, oh, that's totally me.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's such a gift. I just want everybody to meet you. So I'm super stoked we're doing a video finally.
Yeah.
Um, so the thing that has really struck me the most in working with you is with design is the effect it's had on your family life and how that's also been connected to your professional life, which I know for you, you're the same person, so you don't really separate them out. But um, I really I want to get this on video because I see a lot of people compartmentalizing and thinking they have to sacrifice things for their kids or sacrifice their kids for their work so they can support their kids and that kind of thing. So I'd love to hear what you have to
Oh
share.
man, I love that you just said that. I remember having a conversation with someone who's a consultant, and at the time he had $1 million business. Now he's got a $2.5 million business. And we were kind of doing exchange of service. I was coaching him. He was just telling me how he grew his $1 million business. That's kind of a goal of mine. And he said, yeah, you got to sacrifice. You got to sacrifice. You just got to sacrifice. And I'm like, brother, I ain't sacrificing nothing. And pretty much after that, we split ways. And my business has been growing. It's not $1 million yet, but it's heading that way. And I will not sacrifice. Who I am with myself, with my wife and my kids is equally, if not more important to anything in my practice or my business. So I've got to be 100% congruent. So our work was around how to be with my wife, how to be with my wife in relation to my kids, and how to live congruent and peacefully, manifester, so that was the key marquee to my life. And unless I'm congruent at home, I'm useless. Doesn't matter how I coach or how powerful I am. Unless I live it, it's bullshit.
Mm.
That's just my take on it. And I see with coaches, or I see everyone, if you're not congruent, you're not really pleased with yourself, and you are just doubting yourself. So as a coach, for me to be congruent and to be a powerful man, a really loving husband and father, and to create and to help create a place where my kids can learn how to be in this world, no brainer.
Mm.
Our work together has been so that my wife and I could talk about what you coach me on, and then we can actually devise how to be with, not create strategies, but how to be with my son, my daughter, in relation with each other. And it's so funny, like when you did their charts, like you knew what my wife was like before I said anything about it. And before I said anything about my son, you said, oh, he's an active one. And that's an understatement. And I was like, man, you got this guy pegged. And then little Kona, she's the same as you. So it's so interesting to just see how I can be with her and then how to just allow her to flourish. So that's what it's been like. It's just been every time we talk, we will look at things, describe what's going on, and then create ways of being that my wife and I can talk to. And the changes have been just phenomenal. So in addition to working with you, I've been working with my coach, Steve Chandler, as in a group program with him, a big mastermind. And I kid you not, every time we met 4 times last year, we talked about my relationship with my son because he's just a bat out of hell. He's just so unruly. So working with the godfather of coaching and then working with the goddess of, human design and coaching in congruence. When we were away in Australia, I just spent 2 weeks with him and it has changed everything. So taking what you and I have worked on and then taking what I've been working on with Steve, putting those two things together and being with him, he's just becoming a different little boy.
Mm. Mm. So beautiful. So Gary's son is a manifesting generator, and so is his wife. They're all role models of one kind or another, including Gary. Gary's a role model hermit. Um, so I imagine like for people, I'm pregnant. I don't have, the kid's not out yet. But I do talk to a lot of people with kids, and I imagine there's like a combination of relief in hearing that, and also maybe a little nervousness if it really could be true for them. Um, and in your particular configuration dynamics with your son, so like manifestors encounter a lot of resistance, right, when they're not informing, and so then that's when they get into anger. And yeah, you were getting a lot of resistance from your son. He's a powerhouse, right? So you've got this 4-year-old and it's like, how are you controlling everything, and things are like a total disaster, and wanting to love him and guide him, to be himself without going against that. So what have you noticed is like, what have you done differently? And then what's the difference with Cohen?
So, I mean, the biggest thing is presence, 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 just being present with him. And by presence, I mean being present with him, but spending swaths of time with him. The other thing that you said with him is asking him questions. That is going to be the thing. So there's one case in particular. We're in Australia. My wife's sister just had a baby. We're doing a lot of functions at their house, out in restaurants. We're just go, go, go. So like Cohen's energy levels are all over the place. Like we're in different places. So every time he gets wound up and he's acting out in a way that's not appropriate, I'm like, we got to have a discussion. And the discussion is me, being the dad, disciplinarian, pretty not hardcore, but strict.
Which isn't informing. We have to have a conversation, inform.
Well, yeah, it's just telling, not informing, but it's just, yeah, it's not great. So by the third time this happened, we're at this Turkish ice cream shop, and already that day we're having a discussion. So in the ice cream shop, he's doing something like flicking ice cream, doing something. And we're having a discussion. So the whole table's laughing, and I go out, sit outside, and I say, those guys are laughing at us, you know, and Cohen, I'm tired of being hard on you, and I'm tired on you feeling bad. And I ask him a question: what should we do? What are we going to do about this? What are we going to do? And he's like, hey, Daddy, you know what I think? I think the answer is laughter. And then he starts laughing, and I start laughing, and I go, tell me more. What do you mean about laughter? He goes, yeah, like every time we go, let's just laugh. They're laughing at us. Let's laugh at them. And then we just think about it. So the laughter gets him out of his energy state. I don't have to be upset. We both know that there's something not right in his energy state. We release it. We spend some time together, and we go back and we're laughing. And then they're like, what are you guys laughing about? Nothing. And it's been and it's such a simple answer, but really what's happened is, like, anytime he's not doing what he's supposed to, I'll just do something funny. He will then snap out of it, and then we can create something different. So that's just one example that just came out of the blue, and I just asked him. So more and more, I just ask him what's going on. And I notice he's not always willing to tell me everything that's going on. Sometimes he's quiet, sometimes he's shy. So I just wait for the times, early morning, late at night, when he's snuggling, and those times he can't shut up. He's just talking. That's when I'm really, really present with him. But it's interesting because that, coupled with me spending time with him, changes his relationship with his sister to be less, you know, they're 4 and 2. So of course they're going to be doing things. He's going to grab things. But to just be with them both, he's learning from me how to treat her. Mm-hmm. And then my wife is like, I'm just a lot less stressed because he's just listening more. And I always say, as a coach, I change me, I change those around me. But with the design, it just gives me some understanding to who I am and what my design is and what my not self is, and to understand them. And it just gives us a frame of reference. So I'm thinking, with this unprogramming, spending time with you, looking at who people are in relationship to their family, just gives them a way of seeing things beyond what they normally see or think they see. And that's been the help to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love hearing you tell it, because you really do get in and experiment with it. You know, I mean, some people encounter design and they get really perfectionist with it. It's like, well, generators respond best to yes or no questions, and you're asking him a more open-ended question, but you just get in there and play. And, you know, I work with Gary too. You know, he helps me as well. He's a fantastic recognizer of projectors. We flock to him. And it's authentic, you know. He receives us for reals. But distracted myself a little bit talking about myself, so it goes projectors. But yeah, so you get into the experiment, you know. And what I was going to say is, Gary's really intuitive. Like, whoa, he had. In fact, let me bring up Gary's chart just so the nerdy people might want to take a look. And Gary's daughter, by the way, is an emotional projector. She just has the G center, the ego, and the emotions defined. So there's Gary. Pretty fun. Cool design. Mm-hmm. Everybody's design is cool. But it gets really exciting for a projector when you see somebody, you know, being who they are. So, okay, and then my other favorite part of the first part of that, or the second part of that other question, is about how, because I know you told me, like, you said to me once, like, Sari, I just spent 10 grand on a weekend with Steve Chandler, and all I did was talk about my son. And then it was shortly after that you had a big breakthrough in reaching a goal to hire Steve Hardison, like months and months earlier than you needed to. So I would love to hear what
Yeah.
what the connection is for you, because you and I, we would kind of, at the beginning of our calls, you'd be like, oh, let's talk about this. And we'd always end up on your son.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that happens with Steve Chandler too. So you really invested a lot in your relationship with him to
And it's
honor
so
him.
funny because that group program, it was the first time he's ever done it. It was called the M6, the Magnificent Six, handpicked 5 coaches and Steve, and he just chose who he felt is the next wave of coaches. We are going to bring the next wave. The whole purpose of this was the business meets the spirituality of coaching. So we would meet on a weekend, and yeah, that weekend is worth about 10 grand from what I paid from 50 grand. And on one day we speak professionally, we talk about our professional life. One day we speak about our personal life. 4 times, 4 weekends, I spoke one day on my son. So this particular weekend, it became clear. We talked about the 20-80 Pareto rule, Pareto's law. 20% of your effort creates 80% of your results. And I had realized during the year 2017, I was focusing on my 80%, not my 20%. After that weekend, I just focused on my 20%. And my 20% is me, my wife, my kids, my clients, whether they're paying me or not. I was focused on a lot of other things in that 80%. So I really just brought everything way in. And I said no to things that I had been saying yes to for about 8 months in 2017. The moment that I turned it around, I had more time to be present with my son, more time. Well, I always took time for stillness, but I just said no to so many more things so that all that in my focus was that 20%. So if I need to pay something, okay, that comes up. If I don't have the money, that comes up. It becomes 20%. I work on it. Then that goes away. I don't worry if it gets paid or not. I do my job, let that go. But in my focus, day in and day out, then became me, my wife, and my kids. So then I had more time, hence in Australia. 2 weeks I was not working. I took care of all of my clients before and after, but in Australia, it was just time for my family. They were solely my 20%. Then I could play with everything that you and I were working with, that Steve and I were working with. And I guess for me, because my son is my teacher, his name is Koan. A koan is a riddle to gain enlightenment. That kid is my fucking riddle to gain enlightenment. And I thought Koan Buddhist, he's going to be this just Zen little motherfucker. Pardon my French. But like for the first 2 months, he was so Zen. I'm like, yeah, he's so Zen. And then after that, I don't know what happened, but he became my koan, my riddle to gain enlightenment.
Wow.
To love him unconditionally the way he is. And to me, that's a big deal, because if I'm not being congruent, I'm not creating peace, I'm creating discord, and then I'm not living my purpose.
Wow.
So that's it.
It
So
gave
that
me
was
full on splenic chills and tears in my eyes. I hadn't heard that that's what his name meant.
a koan. Yeah, take a look. Like, what is the sound of one hand clapping? That's a koan. You try and answer it and you go, what is the sound of one hand clapping? I have no idea. But you keep on going in. But what it does do is it causes you to become still to what is, and from that stillness to create. So that's our work with Koan. And then little Kona, little shy little Kona that just needs recognition, that just needs daddy to just be there for her. And she's hilarious because, sometimes she's just so loving, sometimes cold as ice. When she's cold, you just let her be. And when she wants, then I'm there. Yeah, I love it. And I love that I know that she's this little projector, that we have this bond because of this. And I have that same bond. And I know how I am with you.
Mm-hmm.
So I know how to be with Kona. And sometimes to be with a 2-year-old is different than with a grown-up, because you
A little
just
bit.
don't know. And so I just know how to be with her.
Mm-hmm. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. So that's,
And it's
that's,
freed your wife up too, right?
oh my gosh.
And so, tell us a little bit about that.
So my wife is my queen. She doesn't meditate. She doesn't do any of the stuff, none of that stuff. She's just centered. She just knows herself. Having kids, when you got kids that are 4 and 2 and that's your life, it's hard because all you are doing is serving those kids and you get lost. So for me to be able to be with those kids and to shape and shake things up for her to have more space is everything. So I mean, from our work, and from that coaching that I had with Chandler, I'm doing things differently. Whereas before I would just work. Now I do things where, at least once a month, I'm taking my kids up to my parents. So my wife has a weekend alone. Um, she calls bullshit on my bullshit. It's hilarious. It's like I had said that I take Mondays off and I hadn't been. And then she says, "This is ridiculous. Like, that's your day. That's your day with Cohen." And I said, "Okay, that's my day. That's my day with Cohen." And it changes everything. It gives her a day alone. So for her to just have me be present to her and what she needs, because as men, sometimes our work takes precedence and we say, I got to create, I got to do stuff. And then they're left hanging. I don't do it anymore.
Mm.
I don't do it anymore. So it's shifting everything. It's shifting everything. Our work is shifting everything.
Cool. Yeah, and so Gary's wife is also the one with the undefined emotional solar plexus in their family, and the rest of them all are emotionally defined. So that time away from them is really precious for her to just get off of all those waves.
Oh, man. I brought the kids up on Thursday to my parents' house, and then we had yesterday all day alone. And it's just so important. It's just so, we went for dinner. And I mean, you'd think that that's just common sense, but when you have kids and you're in it, you forget. So our work together, I just remember. And that's the whole thing of having time to talk about and see through a different lens, the human design lens, what's going on. And then just to come back to what is true, congruent, your true self. And then it's just like peeling the layers of the onion. So that's the work that I have done with you. And I could see how that would be unprogramming whoever is going to be joining you, joining us. Unprogramming, deprogramming.
Mm-hmm.
I just flew in to see Steve Hardison. I was there on Tuesday, spent 2 hours, flew in and flew out. All it was about, all my work about, he said, "You're the Karate Kid. I'm Mr. Miyagi. Wax on, wax off. We're just going to be taking rid of all of that nonsense you've been telling yourself." That's what our work has been. All that stuff that's not self. Doesn't need to be there, doesn't need to be there, doesn't need to be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and the martial arts metaphors come through a lot in design, I find, because it's not that the conditioning forces or the program is going away. It's your relationship to it, right?
The relationship that I have to myself from 2 years ago, I hired him for an afternoon 2 years ago, and I haven't seen him for 2 years. And we start our work in May, but I just had it occurred to me that I want to see him. And we made the agreement that I would fly down to see him in December, and we did. It was just really interesting to just see that was my work. It's like, basically my work has been for 2 years. Am I open or closed?
Mm-hmm.
Am I open to life or closed? Am I open to myself and my stupid behavior? Am I open? If I'm open, I'm open. I'm open to wisdom, open to shifting, open. And basically that's kind of what we do. Like, are you open to what's going on? And if you are, creation abounds.
So beautiful. Well, we have to wrap up this call. This has been really fun. There's so many other things I'd love to talk to you about. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Gary.
You're welcome. I hope this is helpful to anyone that's watching this. Big fan of Sari's. She's made a big difference in my life. Yeah. Fantastic.
Cool. Well, I do want to say again, so Gary's on the dream team for the D-program. It's a new year ascension, becoming the gift you are. And Gary's role is that he's going to be available for support when I am giving birth, when I am on my maternity leave. So he'll be supporting the people who are birthing themselves during that time, should they need it. And also, you know, if anything's lighting up in you and you feel a resonance with what we're talking about and you're curious for yourself, both Gary and I are here available to connect with you and support you any way we can. So,
Awesome.
all right, love you so much, and
Love you. Thank you.
all right, thanks everyone. Bye bye.